Being related to a former and current president is one kind of life, but being his grandchild brings a very specific kind of attention, the kind where every birthday, every public appearance, and every school milestone becomes part of a much bigger story than the one a normal kid gets to live. The Trump family has grown a lot over the past 2 decades, and the third generation now includes 11 children spread across 4 different households, each one quietly becoming their own person, while the cameras occasionally swing their way. Today, we are counting down all 11 of Donald Trump's grandchildren and the parents raising them, starting with the youngest member of the family and working our way up to the eldest. At the very bottom of the list, simply because he is the newest arrival, is Alexander Trump Boulos. He was born in May 2025 to Tiffany Trump and her husband, Michael Boulos, making him the most recent addition to the family tree and the first child for that branch of the family. Tiffany announced his arrival on social media with a heartfelt message thanking everyone for their well wishes, and the moment was notable for the family for a simple reason. It had been years since a new grandchild had joined the group, and it shifted the total count from 10 to 11. Tiffany herself grew up a little differently than some of her siblings' children will, since her parents divorced when she was young, and she was largely raised in California, away from the constant glare that comes with the Trump name in New York. She has said in interviews that her mother intentionally moved them out of the spotlight so she could find her own identity, and it's likely she'll bring some of that same instinct to raising her own son. Alexander is still far too young for the public to know much about his personality, but his birth was a reminder that this family story keeps adding new chapters even now. Moving up the list, we land in the household of Eric and Laura Trump, who are raising 2 children of their own. Their younger child is Carolina Dorothy Trump, born in August 2019. Carolina was actually globetrotting before she was even born, since her mother was pregnant with her during an official state visit to the United Kingdom, where the family met the late Queen Elizabeth II. Laura has joked that she'll have quite a story to tell Carolina one day about that trip. Carolina became something of an internet moment during the 2024 Republican National Convention, when cameras caught her sitting on her grandfather's lap with a wide-eyed expression that quickly turned into a popular meme online. She also appeared with him at a campaign rally in North Carolina that same year, where he brought her up to say a few words into microphone, a moment that delighted the crowd. Family friends have noted she appears to be inheriting the family's height, and as she continues to grow, she's already shown she's comfortable in front of a crowd far bigger than most adults will ever stand in front of. Just ahead of her is her older brother, Eric Luke Trump, who goes by Luke. Born in September 2017, Luke was named in honor of his mother's side of the family. He and his sister live a mostly normal childhood in Florida that occasionally intersects with the family's very public life. Their father has spoken openly about how he tries to keep his kids grounded despite the access and attention that comes with a family name, including bringing them to high-profile events like the White House Easter egg roll. Luke has appeared at campaign rallies and at the 2024 Republican National Convention alongside his sister, and like a lot of kids his age, he's been caught on camera looking a little tired of long ceremonies and formal events, which is a pretty relatable reaction for an elementary schooler stuck somewhere he'd rather not be. Outside of the events, the Eric and Laura household leans into an active outdoorsy lifestyle, with the kids frequently seen fishing and spending time outside with their parents. From there, the list moves over to Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner's household, which includes 3 children. The youngest of the 3 is Theodore James Kushner, who goes by Theo, born in March 2016. Theo arrived just as his grandfather was entering his first term as president, so he has essentially grown up in front of the public his entire life, including a widely shared video of him learning to crawl inside the Oval Office. As he's gotten older, Ivanka has shared that Theo has a wide range of interests, from football and parkour to jiu-jitsu, guitar, piano, studying Hebrew and Chinese, working on Rubik's Cubes, and playing poker, which paints a picture of a genuinely curious kid who likes to try a little bit of everything. He appeared at the Super Bowl in early 2025, sitting with his family in a private suite, and observers have noted he tends to carry himself with a calm, composed demeanor even when surrounded by large crowds and heavy security, which is a pretty unusual thing to say about a 9-year-old. His older brother, Joseph Frederick Kushner, was born in October 2013, and he's a middle child and only older son in the Kushner household. His name is a tribute to both sides of his family, honoring his paternal great-grandfather Joseph Kushner and his maternal great-grandfather Fred Trump, the builder who helped establish much of the family's real estate roots in New York City. According to his mother, Joseph has always been drawn to understanding how things work, taking apart anything with motor just to see the mechanics inside, and he balances that curiosity with hobbies like dirt biking, skateboarding, and fishing with the family dog. There's also a well-known viral moment from when he was a toddler. When Ivanka filmed her kids reacting to the news that they were getting a new sibling, his older sister was thrilled, but Joseph just looked at the camera and bluntly said no, which became one of those classic, very real family videos that a lot of people online still remember fondly. The oldest of the three Kushner kids is Arabella Rose Kushner, born in July 2011. As Ivanka and Jared's first child, Arabella spent her younger years getting an unusual amount of attention for a child, most famously when, as a young girl, she was filmed singing in Mandarin and reciting some classical phrases during a state visit, footage that her grandfather shared, and that went viral internationally. Beyond that early moment, Arabella has grown up with a fairly broad set of interests. She has said in past interviews that she once hoped to join the Marines. She's accompanied her mother to formal events like a Supreme Court hearing, and she's known to be into activities like horseback riding alongside her mom. As the oldest of the Kushner siblings, she's also had more time than her brothers to step occasionally into the public eye at family events, even as she continues to grow into her own interests outside of all that. Now we shift over to the largest branch of the family, the 5 children of Donald Trump Jr. and his former wife, Vanessa Trump, starting with the youngest. Chloe Sophia Trump was born in June 2014, making her the baby of that household. Her parents kept her gender a surprise until birth, and her arrival rounded out the family to 2 daughters and 3 sons. Like her older sister, Chloe has shown an interest in golf, with her mother often referring to her 2 daughters as her golf superstars, and her grandfather has spoken about her natural athletic ability. Beyond sports, Chloe has been photographed enjoying time on the water and going fishing with her father and siblings, suggesting she's just as comfortable outdoors as the rest of her family. Just ahead of her is her brother Spencer Frederick Trump, born in October 2012. Spencer's middle name connects him to his great-great-grandfather Frederick Trump and his great-grandfather Fred Trump Sr., tying him to the same family lineage that gave his cousin Joseph his middle name as well. Spencer has been seen at major events like the Miami Open tennis tournament alongside his older sister Kai and his father has shared glimpses of him fishing with his siblings. Like the rest of the Don Jr. household, he seems to gravitate toward an active, outdoor-focused childhood rather than the more public-facing roles some of his cousins and siblings have taken on. Next up the list is Tristan Trump, born in October 2011, making him just over a year older than Spencer. His father has shared sweet birthday tributes to him online, at one point calling him the best little man ever. Like his siblings, Tristan tends to show up in family posts centered around sports, outdoor time, and typical brotherly milestones rather than political appearances, giving him a relatively low public profile compared to his oldest sister. Just ahead of him is Donald John Trump III, born in February 2009, making him the second oldest of the 5 Don Jr. children and the oldest son in that household. Interestingly, despite being a toddler at the time, he's listed on IMDb as an uncredited audience member in a 2011 episode of The Apprentice, a small footnote from back when the show that helped define his grandfather's television career was still on the air. Compared to his oldest sister, Donald III has kept a noticeably lower profile publicly, without the same kind of social media presence or convention appearances, which has made him something of a quieter figure within a very loud family dynamic. And finally, at the top of the list, we land on the oldest of all 11 grandchildren, Kai Madison Trump, born in May 2007. Kai was actually named in tribute to her maternal grandfather, a Danish jazz musician named Kai Ewens, a detail that doesn't get nearly as much attention as the rest of her public profile. As the eldest grandchild, she has stepped further into the spotlight than any of her cousins or siblings, delivering a personal, well-received speech at the 2024 Republican National Convention where she described her grandfather as someone who gives the grandkids candy and soda when their parents aren't looking, a very normal, relatable detail tucked inside a very unusual setting. She also sat on stage during her grandfather's inauguration in January 2025. Outside of politics, Golf has become a defining part of her identity. She's an avid golfer who announced her verbal commitment to play collegiate golf at the University of Miami, thanking her grandfather in the announcement for the access to golf courses and the support he's given her over the years. She's also built a notable following on social media and YouTube, turning her into something close to the family's first true digital native influencer among the grandchildren, sharing a more personal, behind-the-scenes look at her family life than the public usually gets to see. Taken together, these 11 kids span nearly 2 decades in age, from a brand-new baby to a teenager already mapping out her college career, and they're being raised across 4 very different households in Florida, New York, and Washington, with very different day-to-day lives, depending on which parent and which part of the family they belong to. Some have leaned into the public side of the family name, stepping onto convention stages and into campaign rallies, while others have stayed almost entirely out of view, showing up mostly in birthday posts and family vacation photos. What's clear is that the next generation of this very famous family is still very much in progress, and as they grow older, more of their own personalities, interests, and choices will likely come into focus, for better or worse, under a spotlight that none of them really asked for. What do you think the next decade looks like for this family as these kids grow into teenagers and young adults? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more family deep dives like this one,